You see, when you said once again, like sometimes you have your mood swings, and once again, it gets tiring and all of that. Yeah. Do you? The older you get, and obviously the more time goes on, is there like a way that you can control it in terms of like your mood swings, in terms of like sometimes how you could be up and down? It might sound like a silly question, but yeah, the older you get, is there any way you can control it and control it?
Yeah, in my case, the older I got, the more extreme episodes I
Yeah.
started to experience. But the truth is that living with any condition, you learn. You learn how you feel, you learn how to manage it, you know the red flags that I call it, that something is heading the wrong direction. So for that reason, it's easier to control because you know what to expect, you know what it is, it's not unknown anymore, and you know when to reach for help.
Like one of the most important things that everybody knows, even you don't need to like be the smartest person in the world, is the quality of sleep, right? All of us need a good sleep, you know what I mean? So like over the last year, should I say, yeah, how's your sleep been? Have you been having some good sleeps, or like most of the year you've been struggling? Like how has your sleep pattern been over the last
Yeah,
year?
during the depressive episode, my sleep was non-existent. I was insomnic. I had to take medication. They were not always working. So sleep was shattered, and very little of it was present in my life. Since I got the regime of the new treatment right, my sleep improved. So I sleep much better. However, I don't always feel rested after the sleep. So
Yeah.
I get up a bit fatigued already.
Yeah, I went through, for me even like personally, I went through like, thank God I got over that period, but I went through a period as well where, believe it or not, it used to like stress me out until I seeked help and I got to the bottom of it, where I get exactly where you're coming from, where you sleep. And imagine, yeah, I used to sleep for long hours as well. And still, I'm waking up and I'm still feeling tired. I used to think to myself, well, this doesn't make sense. I'm going to sleep for a very long time, but I'm still waking up feeling like as if I've only had like 2 hours sleep.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So even in terms of that, once you wake up and still feeling tired, do you have like, once again, is that part of your medication that you can take some medication to help you, to get on through the day, to give you a
I
bit of
just
energy?
abuse coffee.
Oh, oh, coffee. Oh my God. So I do. Hey, you just said it. So I do take it that you're a big fan of coffee, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel sleepy all the time. I drink a lot of coffee. Doctors don't really, in the bipolar disorder, because you receive antipsychotics and antidepressive medication, they don't want to really give you anything to boost your fatigue, unless it's really necessary, because it's about sabotaging the influences that you already have in your body.
In your body, in your system,
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have a magical pill.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I need to go to nature, and coffee is widely available.
Yeah. What about even just like the general one that most people know, like exercise? Like, do you exercise often? Do you try to?
I should exercise more, but I'm just getting back on my feet. So I'm going to resume my walks with my dog, and some exercises. But during the depressive episode, I can hardly get up from the bed. So exercises are non-existent.
Yeah. To be fair, at least you're being honest. At least you know that you need to get back into the swing of like, like getting back into exercising and all sorts. Do you think in future, yeah, this is just a random one to throw out there. Do you feel like in future, because also what I've learned as well, the environment that you're in, sometimes it plays a very key part of, either triggering you or even making you better.
Yeah.
So have you thought about maybe like, I don't know, like maybe in future for the betterment of like your bipolar, for you to, to have more control of it, or to even improve and moving forward in future? Have you ever thought about in the near future, I don't know, like moving to another country, another city, another environment that could be even more better for your bipolar and your mental health?
Well, there is always a dream to live somewhere where you will feel best. So I'm not very fond of British weather, so I would love to live somewhere where it's hotter.
Yeah.
But it's also about the roots that you set in the soil around you, and after 20 years here, it's very difficult to imagine living somewhere else.
Yeah. That's true. Sometimes I feel the same way as well. I feel like I've been here for way too long to even see myself ever retiring, going back home. But only the future can tell, and we see what the future holds. Like, what does this mean? Because you've mentioned it once again. You've touched on these two words. Hopefully, I'm gonna pronounce them, the best way as I can. What does mania or
Hypomania.
hypomania? What does what is those
The
both-
difference,
yeah,
there is
what's
the difference. So hypomania is an elevated state when things come with ease, when you have energy, when you feel great, but you are not yet manic. So hypomania is before mania.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
mania is the state where it's everything is over how to say it, it's highlighted more, so the energy levels are extreme with very little sleep. There is the danger of hallucinations and psychosis. So mania is the last stage of the cycle.
Okay, so they come like one of them is first and the other one follows.
Yeah.
Okay. And even going to your art, yeah? Do you obviously as people who go onto your page, they can see how beautiful you incorporate, you get me, your art and sharing how obviously, how your mental health is and how your bipolar is in a beautiful way. Would you say like this might sound like a no-brainer, but again I'm gonna ask it. But would you say like your art is definitely a form of therapy for you in terms of like how you incorporate it with your poems and your art and to describe how you're feeling to us and other people?
I can tell you that now it became my life. It's not only therapy. Without my art, I'm not able to express those emotions and deal with them. I call it trapping demons on the paper or canvas. So I can then deal with the problem and whatever emotion is really harassing me. So art, it is therapy, but it became my life.
Depending what country you come from, background you come from, a lot of people have got these different, like meanings to what dreams mean. Like, do you, just on a random one, do you have crazy dreams sometimes, or like sometimes, or your dreams are quite normal? Because again, I just want to know, like, if people who are on medication sometimes, or people who suffer from bipolar, sometimes when they go to sleep, they have nightmares or something. I just want to understand, like, how are your dreams like when you sleep most of the times?
At the moment when there is the regime of treatment in place, I hardly dream. Well, at least I don't remember it. But when I am in a manic or depressive state, when the sleep is poor and the pattern is broken, then I have very often very vivid dreams and nightmares as well. So it really depends on polarity I am in and the medication I'm taking.
Yeah. Because another reason why I asked that, because I'm sure I saw it somewhere where someone even said that sometimes when you're on some type of medication, that it literally, like, excuse my French, but it literally fucks up your dreams. That sometimes you could even have nightmares when you're on a certain type of medication.
There are medication that can cause that.
Some hallucination.
In every kind of leaflet for psychiatric drugs, you will see that the sleeping pattern may get affected. It's natural to experience different dreams depending on what you are on.
Yeah. Like I told you before we started this conversation, there's a poem, and this is the perfect time for me, I think, to just, like, to read it to you and obviously to the people that are listening, and to just touch on, what this poem was about, and even like mentally, like when you was writing this poem, like where you was, So the poem goes, I'm gonna do my best because I haven't read for a while like this. So the poem goes like this: in a rigid cage, secluded, deluded. All seems wrong. Nothing makes sense. Is it me? Or is it absurd to be true? I lost so much in this war. Nothing comforts my lost soul. My bipolar disorder is a bully. Nobody wants to be subjected to it fully. So much it took away. So much that I gasped for air. So many hopes and dreams turned into dust. Too many. She should or she must. I can't live in that cage. I am consumed by rage. I am here, but nobody seems to care. I am too tired of its price on my brain. I am here in this hell in vain. I want it all to go away, or I am afraid I won't stay. To be fair, I hope I done it justice. I did my best. Like I said, I've been read for a long time. But for those people who are watching, hopefully, if my reading wasn't that good, try to rewind a little bit when I'm reading to try to understand. Like, let's talk about this poem. Like, when you wrote this poem, like, you know, like, mentally, like, where was you?
I was in a very pissed off state. Bipolar costed me a lot. I lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of dreams. My life is constantly dependent on medication and doctors, and it's, the NHS is as it is. It's very difficult to have the same doctor all the time. So I was in a state when I was kind of evaluating what happened since I got diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I was still trying to understand and navigate the ways of how to live with that disorder. So I was kind of, getting my anger out for the bipolar disorder that make my life miserable. And and there was the kind of accent there at the end is that I was a bit suicidal when I was writing it.
Because even for me, like, when I was reading through it, definitely I could sense anger and frustration in there as well. It's like somebody who is basically somehow stuck in their mind and they're trying to express to you like how they feel, if you go on to say it, and how they feel. You get what I mean? So poetry, like, what came first? Maybe this might be a question that I asked you in our first conversation, but I feel like for the people that are going to be watching this, it makes sense for us to touch on poetry. Like, what came first, your poetry or your art?
I think poetry was first because for many, many years I was denying my need for art and I was not doing any. I turned to art in 2019 when I was directed to a support for mothers with postnatal depression. And this is how I opened up to art and started to do it again. For decades, I haven't been doing anything. Because of that, art was a little bit later. But I always used to express myself in words. Even till now, I'm finding some poems and texts written long time ago on my drive. And this is how some of my books came about, because I do write a lot and I write my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. This helped me to take it out of the system. I think poetry was first.
Mothers, like, do you have like a community out there of like, like-minded mothers who, because again, having a community of people who understand you, who are also going through like similar circumstances, it really, really helps. Like, do you have like a small community of mothers also who suffer from bipolar that you can sometimes rely on and go to, and you guys can reason?
Thanks to attending art therapy, I met few individuals who have the same condition as I do, and we keep in touch although the art therapy finished. So it's very crucial to find people like you because you feel misunderstood when you have a psychiatric condition. While another person who is going through similar things, you will find that understanding and no judgment. And it's very crucial to have people like that around you because living on your own with a disorder is very difficult.
Do you feel like the world, or even we can just break it down into London, because obviously we live in London. Do you feel like, once again, like I said, we live in an information age where it's like it's up to each individual like to just go Google and do their own research and educate themselves. But like I said, unfortunately, people taking information in different ways. Like I said already, do you feel like London or even this country just in general, like people still need more education in terms of like how people with bipolar, operate, and also, yeah, do you feel like, yeah, just like people in this country still need more, yeah, education on people with bipolar?
Definitely, they need to hear the stories of people with lived experience, because reading in books and on Google, it gives you just general stuff. Knowing the story of the person who lives that is where you learn a lot. And definitely we need more of that. It's better than it was, don't get me wrong, but there is still stigma attached, and people fear certain conditions because of the way they are portrayed in society. So now we are a bit better in portraying psychiatric disorders in movies in a way that it's not only the person who is in a nut house and having no control over their life, but we see those. For example, I don't know if you watched Homeland, about a CIA agent who has bipolar disorder.
I've heard of Homeland, but unfortunately, I haven't had time to watch it yet.
So I think that over there the bipolar is very well portrayed and not stigmatized. She is still having career. She is still following her life dreams. But we don't have so many so good portraits of psychiatric disorders. So I think we need more of it, but people will stop fearing it, and will find a value, because my condition has a value. When I am well and when I am stable, I can achieve a lot, and when I'm hypomanic, I can achieve a lot. A lot of projects can be done. And we are good workforce for that reason, but we need to start looking at it with more kind eyes.
More kind eyes, for sure.